Welcome to Behind the Spotlight. I'm Crystal Lampett, and we are all here to sit down and get to know the artists and musicians who inspire us. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Andrew WK. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So everybody knows your song, Party Hard.
Well, some people, and someday maybe everybody.
Maybe everybody
After this performance,
surely.
Then maybe a few more people.
After everybody sees this episode of Behind the Spotlight, everyone will know.
Hopefully.
It's your signature song, but I don't think a lot of people have heard you play it on the piano. So that's what we're going to do.
Okay, my pleasure.
All right, let's party hard.
Thank you.
Party hard. Let's get a party going. Let's get a party going. When it's time to party, we'll always party hard. From you, we do what we like and we enjoy what we do. So let's get a party going, let's get a party going. Now it's time to party and we'll party hard. Let's get a party going, let's get a party going. When it's time to party, we will always party hard.
All right, and that was Party Hard by Andrew WK. On the piano. You are actually classically trained on the piano.
Well, that's the rumor. I would never disgrace classical pianists or the classical tradition by actually claiming to have any classical skill. But it was attempted to train me in that mode, and I did the best I could. It was traditional piano lessons, and they either worked or didn't, depending how you look at it.
I mean, I thought that was pretty impressive.
Well, that's very generous. I think I may have hypnotized you and made it appear as though I was playing well. So, you know what? Maybe that's just as good.
It's your jam, and everybody knows. I mean, I feel like that song makes everybody want to get up and dance. You know, even here in the studio, everybody's like, yeah.
Well, thank you. If you like it, that's all that matters.
I do. So first off, there's so much I want to cover with you, mainly about sort of the party philosophy. But before we get into that, I just wanted to get this addressed right away. I saw an interview with Larry King.
Yes.
Fantastic interview.
Oh, thank you.
He kind of mentioned the whole persona of Andrew WK maybe being a gimmick. What do you have to say about that? Was he right? Was that a publicity, do you agree with what he said? Is it a publicity stunt? All of the rumors and the weird conspiracy theories out there about Andrew WK?
I've tried to present myself and this work, whatever this is, as straightforward as I can. But after that, people are going to think whatever they are going to think, whether they're Larry King or you or anyone watching right now. That's for them to decide. And that's the beautiful thing about having your own mind. I wish I could control it. I wish I could control my own brain, but it's going to think what it thinks, whether I want it to think something or not. So I'm here to party and try to summon an exciting, energetic feeling. And if people get that, if you get that, then that's, to me, that's all that matters. That's mission accomplished as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. And I do think that with some of your writing, you are really big on the truth. You're huge on authenticity.
Well, I like the idea of truth. The truth may be that there is no such thing as truth. It's a very difficult concept to even grapple with, but there is something that happens when you hear a song you like, when you feel good about music or even good about life. If that's as close to the truth as we can get, that's close enough for me.
All about the party. With sort of the definition of party, would you say that it has changed over the years for you?
Not really. It's a pretty basic idea, I think. You're celebrating.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons to celebrate. People can have a lot of different reasons throughout their life to celebrate, but celebration in itself is a pretty pure and direct kind of activity. And you can celebrate Friday night, like
Sure.
You can celebrate a holiday, you can celebrate your birthday, or you can just celebrate not being dead. And that gives, as far as your life is concerned, that gives you a reason to party every day.
Absolutely. What inspired you to take on this outlook of life is a big celebration? Was that were you just always optimistic person, or was that something that developed over the years for you?
Probably quite the opposite. I have someone who struggled with seeing the dark side of things, the glass half empty, or maybe just that the glass was filthy and the water was probably contaminated. Very negative feelings about existence, and didn't really like feeling that way, or maybe wanted to use that, invert that, and try to focus on a positive feeling, on a cheerful feeling. So I made it a mission. I said, I'm going to devote my life to trying to get cheered up. And what's the most simple way to get cheered up? Partying.
Partying. So do you feel like music has basically become that outlet for you?
That's one of the best ways. It's a magical way. It's a very reliable way. But even talking to you right now, I consider this partying. I think any means, any method that you use to get that good feeling, it counts. So music counts, talking counts, watching something, reading something, just sitting and thinking to yourself can count. Whatever it does, eating food, exercising, petting a soft cat or dog, these things all count. Stay close to those joyful things that you can rely on. They're sacred things.
I would have to agree with that. I think it's just all about connecting with something,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right, we are going to get more into that with you here in a few minutes. We'll be right back with more Behind the Spotlight. And we're back with Andrew WK, and I think something that people are often surprised by is how you have a party persona. You're all about party hard, but you have a very deep philosophical side. Did you think that you would ever become sort of this modern day philosopher?
No, not really. I am not traditionally trained. I have trouble thinking and contemplating even the most basic thoughts, like how to say that sentence I just stumbled over. So I don't, again, really don't consider myself a philosopher, but I guess if you think of thinking and you apply thinking to life, then you are engaged in some sort of philosophical project. And I would like to think that we're all doing that. Everyone should be able to be a philosopher. Now, whether it counts in academic circles or to the traditional scholarly pursuits, that doesn't really matter to me. They can have that. I don't claim to be in that realm, but I do like thinking about life because it's made life feel better. Even if you don't get much more insight or even any takeaway understanding, there's something about the activity itself that feels good. It doesn't need to be to achieve a certain end, just like music. It's the joy of itself. Whether you do anything with it or not, it just feels good to do it.
It's sort of the journey, not necessarily the destination.
There, you said it much better than I did.
Wise man once said that.
Supreme philosopher.
I'm all over the self-improvement, self-help stuff. So I love that you are so open about speaking about depression and the ups and downs. And you've mentioned that Terry Bradshaw kind of inspired you, right, to talk about depression, because here's this man who you think, oh, he would never struggle with depression. He's an athlete, very masculine, But what was it about him discussing it that made you think, okay, maybe I can talk about this too?
Well, he's so buoyant, and he comes off with so much energy and enthusiasm and confidence. But true confidence is what I saw in him was also the ability to show a vulnerable side, to show his weakness, to face it himself, but then also face the world, or face that side of himself to the world. That was, the least, he didn't have to do that. And I think something about him not being a musician or what you'd think of as a traditional artist, but as a great performer unto himself, as a great professional, and as a great man, I thought, well, if he can put himself out there and risk that, then maybe someone would respond to it from me being open about these things. I had never not been open,
sure,
but that was someone I really always thought very highly of. Even though I don't know a lot about football, I just thought that guy has a great vibe. Anything I can do to be more like him will help me be a better person.
Well, and sort of with depression, I think there are those times where you don't feel like you can pull yourself out of it, but as a performer, there are days where you just have to, and I think you have to put on a persona. How do you cope with those days that you really don't feel like your authentic self wants to be cheerful and performative and out there? How do you cope with that?
That's a great question. I don't really think there is an authentic self or not. There's just yourself. So, and even that is hard to really know what it is. Again, we can make efforts to get to it, to understand it, and get close to it. And maybe that's the closest we can get. Maybe that is even being yourself, is trying to find out who you are. But I don't think there's a real you or not real you. If you make a mission, that's what I wanted to do, is have a mission that would force me to go beyond myself, to pull out my strongest abilities, to push myself, a quest that had more to do with these feelings, these good feelings, and with other people than it did about me and my bad feelings, to have a reason to overcome my weakness. And, being here, this is part of that mission.
Was part of your mission to self-improvement going sober? Was there a specific reason why you decided, okay, I'm going to cut out substances and I just want to...
Oh, well, I haven't actually cut out substances, so I shouldn't really commit to that. But I've enjoyed the adventures that have come from all kinds of substances, including even sodium, or bubbly...
Caffeine.
Or caffeine, or candy, or just breathing air. So everything has its place if you can get something out of it to a degree. That's for each person to decide. Fathoming the depths of your own dark side, there is some value there. It's dangerous and it's harmful, but you come out the other side sometimes with real experience. And if we're here to learn and grow, you have to experience things in order to have that happen. But each person will figure that out for themselves. I'm not here to tell anybody I've been straight edge, I've not been straight edge. I don't really adhere to any one thing or another, except to try to be the best I can be.
Yeah, I think everybody has their own journey, and
absolutely,
we'll figure it out one way or the other. But I love your advice column on Village Voice.
Thank you.
When you are writing your answers to people's questions, where do you draw inspiration? Who has kind of helped shape your way of thinking?
I mean, countless people that I probably can't even remember. Certainly my parents, my immediate family, close friends. But then just those things in the ether. It's almost what I really try to do, and maybe this is a pretty basic approach, but I try to imagine if I was asking this question to what I thought is the smartest person in the world, or the best person in the world, or the strongest person in the world, or the wisest person in the world, like a wizard, what would they say? And then I just try to write what I imagine they would say. So it's not really what I think, because I'm not a wizard. I'm working towards it, but...
Yeah.
So you just kind of put yourself in that highest mind. And I do think everyone has the ability to do that. You don't think, what would I do? You think, what would I do if I was the greatest that I could ever be? And then if we are able to live or approach that even just the slightest bit, or just consider those points of view, we get a lot out of that exercise.
So everybody can channel that inner strength.
Yeah, the highest ultimate intelligence. It comes from somewhere. And the fact that we can actually picture it and imagine it, that's a real powerful tool to be able to use.
Well, you mentioned in an interview that one of the biggest problems the world is facing today is lack of personal integrity. Could you expand on that a little bit more?
Well, I think everyone probably has their own experiences with it. Not to say that anyone in particular has low
Sure.
integrity, but I certainly have grappled with that. And again, it's strange because you wouldn't want to think that it takes being bad to realize how to be good. But it seems like it naturally goes that way. It wasn't
Yeah.
hard for me to be bad. It was very easy. But having a choice, when you're faced with a choice of I could do this or I could do that. A very good example would be you committed to someone, you gave someone your word to do something with them or for them, and then some other opportunity came along that maybe, let's say, paid a lot of money or you felt like doing more, but you gave your word. So there, in that clear A or B, go this direction or go that direction, that's a beautiful place to say, I know what the right thing here would be to do, and then to do it. The more we can clarify and make decisions that easy, they're not always that easy, but the more we can separate that distance between what we know is right and what we actually take action to do, that's my goal. I have friends that are very advanced, and for them, they don't even have to think about it anymore. They
It's like
just
second nature.
They just
Yeah.
do it, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm still working on that. Trying to become a better person is the hardest thing.
I think identifying and self-awareness is the goal, right?
That is.
Right.
That's a lifelong development.
And speaking of integrity, you are married to a beautiful woman, Sherry.
Thank you. Yes, I think she's awesome.
And so you've said that she's your soulmate.
Well, I would like to think so.
Do you believe in soulmates?
Well, once I met her, I didn't really before that. But then you meet this person. I mean, the only way I could describe it was like meeting a family member that you didn't know you had. Like, it's the equivalent of a dad or a mom. Not this in the same way, but in terms of the singularity of that person in your life. There's not going to be another person that has this same importance. But I didn't know that, and you can't really predict it. Before, I was just dating, different women, and I don't mean that to be a disrespect to them, because I thought many of them were the one, and it felt fantastic. And then it's like I heard music for the first time. It had nothing to do with anything that I had previously experienced. So.
And you still feel that way, obviously.
Well, more so.
It grows, right?
Yeah.
It becomes better and better. So with that, do you, I guess, obviously now you believe in monogamy. Have you always believed in monogamy?
I did. That wasn't that hard for me. I don't
No?
know. It just didn't appeal to me too. It seemed like I have friends that are really passionate about, going around with a lot of people, and it does seem to add a certain kind of excitement to their life, more like a combination between an action movie, a romance, and a horror movie.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of stimulation. It gives them a lot to work on. They're constantly in this very amped up state, and it's kind of like their project. It's like their hobby is
Keeps you
dealing
busy.
with. Yeah, it's a lot of busyness. So I understand that, and I have other things I'm trying to do with my time and energy, and that's one that I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Put a lot of time into that. But I'm not. If someone wants to do it, go for it, and you'll have one heck of an intense time, I'm sure.
Everybody has their own journey.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it.
That is. Thank you so much. We are going to be right back with one more performance from Andrew WK.
Let's get a party going. Let's get a party going.
Welcome back to Behind the Spotlight. Now, before we get to our final performance from Andrew WK, I wanted to ask you one more question about the Village Voice because I'm obsessed with your column right now.
Thank you.
You have a lot of male followers. Why do you think that you are so appealing to men with your advice column, besides being a man?
I have no idea. I actually never thought of that. I mean, I think if there really was only a reason, because I appear to be a man and maybe people can bond to other males. But I would like to think, and maybe you're encouraging this, that women can also be part of this party. That's been really important to me. I feel like over the years it's grown more even, that we have a nice balance between all people there, and that is the best kind of party to be able to attend.
Absolutely. I do love it, for the record. And you do have a lot of female followers as well.
Thank you.
I think there's something about your column that makes maybe men feel safe to ask questions.
Well, that would be wonderful. That's a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very non-judgmental space.
We try to create a good vibe.
Absolutely. Well, we have one more song. Tell us what you're going to play.
Well, this is originally a song about New York City, but seeing that I'm in Kansas City, and it works so well in terms of the number of syllables, New York City, Kansas City.
There you
So
go.
this is going to be about my love for Kansas City.
All right, take it away, Andrew WK.
Thank you.
Run them over, run them out, knock your block, interior town. Run on corners, scoot around, talk no talk, breaking you down. We are a corporation, we are a company. Cut hard, but we cut them hard anyway. We are a mother, father, we are a final friend. You can't stop what you can't end. I love New York City. Oh yeah, I mean Kansas City. I love Kansas City, but I also still love New York City. Broken beds and cool corners, things not said, and little Jack Horners. Ride on shuttles and take the bus. Hey, 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 now let's go to the truss. We are a courthouse, we are a Jeffrey. 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 I love